a baking sheet lined with aluminum foil, and you put it in your broiler. You're going to want to broil it for about 10 minutes until everything is nice and browned. And I'm going to start making the meatballs for the soup. These meatballs are made with 1 can Chipotle pepper in adobo sauce. You just, by the can, you take out your 1 Chipotle pepper. It's very easy to do that. Leaving the sauce, and you just smush it up a little bit. And then you're going to go ahead and take your, I have 16 ounces of ground turkey. Put that in there. You're going to combine that with 1 clove of garlic, your salt, and 1 egg. Mix this up a bit. You can also put some panko breadcrumbs into your meatballs if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and skip that. Sometimes I like to do more of a low-carb version. And you can start cooking up your meatballs. I'm going to take some olive oil, just a couple tablespoons, into your cast iron skillet. You can do a non-stick skillet as well if you don't have a cast iron. Meatballs are so easy to make, and I just love how they taste in this chicken broth of this soup. This soup has such a nice flavor combination with the red bell peppers, the jalapenos, the meatballs, and the chicken broth. Also lots of garlic. Topped off with some cilantro. It has a very unique flavor. You can go ahead and make your meatballs ahead and roast your vegetables up ahead. That's what I'm going to do tonight to help save yourself time when you don't have a lot of time to work on this in the evening. I'm going to go ahead and cook up these meatballs and I'll meet you back there. As you can see, my meatballs are just about done. It's okay to take them out before they're completely cooked through because they are going to be cooking up in the soup for quite some time. Here are my vegetables that are going into this soup, getting nicely browned. And I'm just going to go ahead and give my corn on the cob a little turn because you do want to get that browned on all sides as much as possible. But I can tell my other veggies are getting very close to be done, so I'm going to take those out first of all and let the corn keep going. That takes a little bit longer. I'm sorry guys if there's a little bit of background noise. I do have 4 kids and my 1.5-year-old was quite noisy while I'm filming this, so I do apologize for that. Hopefully you can bear with me on the noise. I'm just finishing up with the soup now. I have all of my potatoes cut up, 2 cups of red potatoes. I have 1 cup of carrots. I have my 1 cup of onion chopped. I'm going to go ahead and get some olive oil down in my pan here that's nice and hot. And I'm going to start sauteing up my onion. You want to get this nice and translucent in color. And then you want to add in your carrots and your potatoes. And your garlic. Cook this down for about 5 minutes. You can see how I've chopped up the red bells that I've roasted off in the oven. They're nice and tender now that they've been roasted. You need to go ahead and chop up the jalapenos as well. When you chop the jalapenos, you want to go ahead and take your knife and scrape out the inside of the jalapeno. As you can see, it has quite a bit of heat that's inside of this area, so go ahead and just give it a little scrape first before you chop it up. And you're going to get a jalapeno that looks more like this, and that's going to have less heat for your soup. It is easy to get this soup just a little bit too hot, and you're going to just dice up these jalapenos. Dice up these jalapenos, and you're going to get them in there with the peppers. So now you're going to have all your ingredients in your pan. We're going to leave the corn for in a little bit. You're going to add in your 3 cans of chicken broth, and you're going to let this cook down for about 20 minutes. The flavor intensity of this soup is amazing. You are going to love this soup. And I like to keep my bells like slightly larger because my husband doesn't really like bells. Quick little tip, I had to rename red bell peppers bells because my kids were scared of the name pepper. Whenever I would see pepper, they did not want to touch it. So I'm going to finish pouring off my chicken broth. It's already smelling so delicious. I love this soup. Okay, I'm going to put my lid on, and that needs to cook for about 20 minutes. And add back in your meatballs that are already pre-cooked most of the way through. They're still a little bit pink. And then you're going to cook it for another 10 minutes while the meatballs add their flavor to the soup and they finish cooking. You're going to add in a ½ teaspoon of salt. And then you're going to put your lid back on, cook that up for another 10 minutes. And then your corn that you've already roasted, you're going to take this and you're going to hold it like this, and you're just going to cut down the sides of it. Cut right up against the core, and be careful not to cut yourself, and you're just going to scrape off the corn kernels. And then after these meatballs are done, we're going to add the corn back in and just cook it for 5 more minutes. Top it with some cheese and some chopped cilantro, and the soup is done. This soup is so delicious. It does take a little bit of work to cut up all these vegetables, but it's well worth it. The flavors are all there. And there you have it, a delicious pot of tortilla meatball soup that you're definitely going to want to make this for dinner. Take my word for it. And Ruby's.